The War on Nature finding. This one's about looking at knots, fallen branches, like stone bridges and stuff, like from like potential roots, which are like which come above the surface and stuff. So example with this one, being like a knot, potentially like a branch would have been growing through there, or call it a trunk maybe. So we've got quite a few of these, what I mean? It's one of the things of like, the mysteries of things like how did these bridges form and stuff, and all the argument is water washed the soft rock away kind of thing, like. Again, how did that become soft rock underneath it, and how did that become hard rock? You know what I mean? And knowing what this is, you know what I mean? It's got all quartz in it, so it's from tree, petrified. So we've got this example. You get your roots, your surface roots like this, which are like above and that lot. So that's more like in between your, what do you call them, ankles, the bits in between roots of tree and stuff. You get them little natural caves and stuff, like, potentially, So that's like your surface roots. Again. I'm looking at muscle structure. I showed you this on one of the other videos, didn't I? You see how it weaves round itself, doesn't it? And it's got like all this, the strength that it's building kind of thing as it grows. So in the same sense, you got it all on there kind of thing. And see how it's going up. It's a bit of a different shape, but that's potentially buried anyway, you know what I mean? A lot of it and stuff. Oh, wood grain on there. Yeah, that might not be a root as such, like fallen branches and all these kind of things, but I mean, I think that area is missing what it looks like. So, you got different ways of the form and stuff like, but this one looks like it grew that way, you know what I mean? Again, you got all these layers in there and stuff. A natural bridge. Might have a fence on side, but the stone's natural. This one's good because it's still rounded, so it looks like, like a branch which has fallen over. The top half's missing, whether it's like from decomposing, decay and all that kind of thing, or remains at fire and stuff. And then like buried in ash and rain or whatever, which prevented it from being completely incinerated and stuff. Another one. This is a good one because it looks like wood colour there, and then that looks like internal wood colour. And so and again, it's not like Anatomy of Giant trees, yeah, but see wood structure. In background. I'll bet yellow stuff coming out of it. It might be a different tone of yellow from one in Yosemite from previous video, but again you got like muscle structure. Like it's, look how big it is, you know what I mean? It's like more wide than tall, you know what I mean? I don't know what's missing from top, you know what I mean, in background. So a lot of it like may have just grown outwards rather than up, you know. I've got an example on one of the next videos I'm going to make. It's another knot, potentially where a branch will growing out. Some of them you don't know if it's like all broken away underneath or it grew like that kind of thing. Like it definitely grew. Or rocks underneath it. You got a layer here, which is curling around the rock, implying like a skin or the bark of the root or whatever it were, kind of thing. Whereas like if it was sedimentary rock, you just have flat layers going all the way through it in one angle, whichever angle it had settled at the time, kind of thing. Whereas I'm not seeing that. You're seeing it go around it. See it there as well. And then further up there you can see a little bit. It's a bit difficult on the screen. But you just can see where it's fell away and stuff, all layers and that, and then you got that there. Again, muscle structure of it and stuff. So it's not water that's shaped it. It's more likely how it's grown, kind of thing. Well, definitely, you know what I mean? Like I say, like looking at Angman's research, once you've made the connection with all, you know, your rock and stuff and where it originates from, then you know that all this is petrified wood, kind of thing. So you got layers. Again, you got your nut. So that'll probably all filled in, and another nut there. I think I've shown you that one before though. I still see some wood grain. Rocks on floor. And that one looks like a branch rather than a root. There's the alt floor. It's all rock as well. And I like looking to the distance. All this rock here, and then all sand and rock kind of thing, like, and that's all it is. You know what I mean? Look at, I can't tell that it's in distance. Is that a mountain? It looks like a mountain. It could be just like shadow from clouds or something. Underwater, coral, I suppose, but still classed as a bridge, I suppose. I've seen that one a few times. That's beginning. Now we've got mushrooms. So with giant trees, or trees and mushrooms going hand in hand, don't they? So again, when you got alt waste at the bottom, what it's turned into, you can see it, can't you? Water's formed a path through it and stuff. There's loads of types of mushrooms. Okay, now it's all broken down. Obviously, mushrooms aren't as big as trees, so I've not found them as any like potentially as big as the giant trees as such, but they're quite big though. I see if it's like burnt out, or it could have like shriveled its sun or something like that kind of thing. I think partially burnt. And then you've got all these pockets. That's similar to that lace rock on that other video I showed you. You kind of like add square pockets kind of thing, cubic pockets, which, you know, are like questioning like cacti and all that kind of stuff, like for storing water. Another type here. You can see water levels. So like after the trees fell down and all that kind of thing, the great fires burying everything in ash, then you can see the water levels. I think you know, when ash and dust lands on water, it creates a layer on top of water, doesn't it? So it would have been consistently topped up with ash and dust and stuff, like, because it's like the air would have been that thick with it. You know what I mean? It's like how long were the fires going, and you know how long will it have been filling, you know, the air with it and stuff. And just so I don't know. That's what it looks like it's done. As the water level's gone down, it's left a staining of all the dust and stuff. Maybe the water level went down quicker for a bit whilst it's more white, you know what I mean? And then it slowed down, and it's gone quicker again, slowed down, and eventually drained away, kind of thing. It could be water that were trapped there, so this became a lake for a period of time or something like. Because everything's resetting, everything crashed, and then everything's got to decompose and so resettle its positions and all that kind of stuff. Any earthquakes is going to shake everything about and all that kind of thing. So then you get like areas which would have been trapped with, you know, like the debris would have created lakes, and then eventually that would have settled and then released the lakes, and the dams would have burst of whatever were holding it there, kind of thing. And then the water will be able to drain away or whatever. But it depends, because it's like, you know, if it's a worldwide flood and stuff, because we've got like a water mark on pyramids and stuff, about 12 foot high or something like that. But more potential. See, they all look burnt. You know what I mean? Like all that colour that you get in an ash after a fire. You search through ash or whatever, and you get all them pastely greys, blues, greens, yellow, pink. You know what I mean? Like when we used to have underground fires in our area before council put them out, you could find like pebbles of it, pebble of like just blue, like a really light blue pebble of ash, basically. Oh, any other colours? I see, looks like that water line. It settled here for ages, and then eventually something burst, and then the water were able to find a channel out of that area, or I don't know, that's just what it looks like in a way. But it's even pockets, like that lace rock. So at lace rock, it could be mushroom rather than cactus, for example. But it looks burnt, melted. A different material from wood, isn't it? So it kind of acts differently. This is a leaner pillars. Another petrified forest. And I'll just look up here. See how it's all filled in, all the debris that's come down. So like the base of that tree is probably down there, kind of thing. Same for that one is probably down there, and with all these as well. And you can see in between it's all filled in. So whatever's it fell from above, didn't it? You know what I mean? So whatever were there were probably more. Might have even gone higher. You know what I mean? Like start from there, it could have been going as high as that kind of thing, and then back down to the other side. Oh, like up there kind of thing. I don't know. It's just like for so much debris to fill in between it. That's a lot. Is that? And look how far it goes. You know what I mean? See how we're connected to each other. They like come out in a chain. Is it cut at that level? Burnt at that level? These mushrooms are. I don't know, it looks like it's buried in ash waste as well, kind of thing. Like it's, again. So who would have lived? It would have been awesome. See, it's got a layer here, like it had a skin that went over the top of this, like mushrooms do. So further kind of reinforcing the idea that these are mushrooms. And you can find little pebbles which have all the moles in. You know what I mean? Which is like different to other pebbles. Why would they be different? So, you know, I mean, there could be just different types of wood where some wood's softer than others, and so it's petrified in a different way and stuff. This is another petrified forest. I think the official explanation is supposed to be that water formed it to look like this, but so uniform, such a unique kind of pattern that it's followed. I can't imagine how water would do that. And again, they come out in this chain like that. It's like a mountain from above. When you see like it's got like that's the ridge, and then it's got all these parts which come off. They're too intricate and too, they're all the same size there, Why would water do that? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And then you've got all your debris, which has obviously come from above and stuff like. And look how far that would go. Like fill the landscape. And then you can see trees growing on top of it, kind of thing. So it's like hiding it all. Yeah, I mean, with new vegetation. So, you know, I mean, if this weren't cleared out and stuff like that, if you couldn't see it, if this were overgrown and you just had trees growing all over the top of it, you wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like that area, other side of Ridge. There's so many forests and that. Can you imagine what it was like? Like a bit flowered and the smell of it and stuff. Well, I'm assuming that this was like some sort of fungus. Because it's so different. So there might have been spores coming off it and it might have been dangerous, you know, but it might have been good for you. We can only speculate on a lot of it, but but we can see what it is though. We can see how much room it's taking up and what, you know, like the causation of it, you know, all the debris that's come off it and stuff like that. And it's like all this land and what's it supported on, you know? It's supported on itself, basically. I'll get to that point in the next video. Again. More mushrooms. A bit blurry though. That's difficult for seeing it, but these ones. So, if they were could have been if they were covered in soft rock, that'd simply just be the ash which were buried. They were buried in. And it's like, you know, can we find it though? Like, is it all just washed away or whatever and stuff? Because it must have been buried to petrify. So you've got your mainstream argument that there will be what's it called, the soft rock. But it would definitely, this definitely grew and then were petrified. There's no other explanation for it really. There's one aspect, this looks a little similar to some pictures of coral I've seen, but the question is that actually coral or is it another type of plant which, you know, we're less familiar with, kind of thing, like, because it's like the sea level could have been, was lower because we've got temples and all that kind of stuff under ocean. So, so it is potentially wood, you know, rather than coral. Well, when the flood came, so we have potentially got coral on the surface. It's another thing about okay, so we're coming to the fungus folder, and I've included growths. So these are potentially burls, but on this landscape, we've got like a vast area of it just being kind of flat, of wood growing in this kind of direction or whatever, and then it lumps up every now and again, and that potentially could have been sprouting off to become a tree. It might have had like loads of little tiny branches coming off it, and then one which would dominate eventually. But how far could it do this for? You know, I mean, just like layers like this, like ideal for walking across. So again, that's something I'm going to touch in the next video, like how expansive a tree could grow, and like outwards rather than up. Like we talk about like space rockets going directly up when wouldn't it be easier to go horizontally and take off like a plane? I mean, with a shuttle on it or whatever and stuff. I mean, there's so many contradicted things in that narrative anyway. But I'll go to the next picture. You can see wood pieces. You see wood grain in it and all that kind of thing. And then we've got these. I don't know whether it's burls or, again, fungus type things. I mean, you think of things bubbling in a pan, like, I mean, hot stuff or whatever and that lot, but I don't believe it's that anyway. It looks more similar to burls. Say if it had a branch growing out of it, like quite a large branch in that kind of sense. But it's open for question. There's an example of a burl. You got a little one there, or this one here, and you see how it bulges and twists a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's it's creating its own new path in a way, you know what I mean? It's like all that straight, you know what I mean, and stuff. But this part where it bulges, I think that's where it can like take a new path, basically, like growing branches and trees and extra branches. Sorry. Again, all this burling, like loads of them, and then you got your layers here filled with sand. Bills, same tree again, just different photo. I see out blackness as well. It happens on trees and rock. Could have been a fungus, so it were easy, because like stones do that anyway, how it wears out and stuff. But again, it's all flora, basically. Petrified flora. Bill there. So you look at these here. So it wraps around and goes around and stuff like. You get that like on flower heads where it's where it unfolds kind of thing. Like on external bud area. Again, you got all this burling and stuff, and all that there. When I first saw that, I thought it were again a fungus type of thing, but it's connected to all these lines and that lot, so I think it's related to this. Either that's like the ash waste version of this kind of thing, and this is petrified, but that's like you have to go see it yourself, don't you, sometimes. I see how big it's getting. So you got one there, and it's like burling up. You got these here, and then this one's got right big. You see what I mean? Now it's following this kind of path. So when a tree burls, it's gonna it might not be the next video, actually. The video after that. Sedimentary lines inconsistent, and you got your burling. See wood pattern. This water line that curls back on itself miraculously, if you follow that narrative. And back to mushrooms. Alright, well, that's just a look at them, and the next video's gonna it's more than looking. You know what I mean? So we're kind of making progress now. It's like I feel like I've got rid of like a lot of the just glancing at things. You know what I mean? To show you what I'm looking at and that what. Um, and then we'll be getting more to the point on the next videos and stuff. So thanks for keeping up if you're following and stuff. And I'll get on with the next one. Cheers.